press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, in this class we are going to discuss a new topic, that is human environment, settlement, transport and communication. First of all, human environment. Everything, as I already said in the previous classes, environment means everything which is surrounding us. So here human. It means that human environment means everything which is surrounding a human is known as human environment. And here settlement. How did they settle? About that we will learn. And transport. How did the transportation changes from place to place and from time to time? And the communication. You know what do you mean by communication? Communication, it means passing a message from one person to another person. Either it may be verbal form or it may be a non-verbal form. Okay, these are the new things we are going to learn in our today's class. So, first of all, let me tell you, in the ancient time when the human was living in the caves and some trees and all, what he was doing? Yes, he was doing things which are means at that time there were no technology, there were no much transportation, there was no much much development in the technology. That is why they used to gather the food, they used to hunt the food, they used to gather the food, and they used to depend upon the forest for everything. Okay, but as the time passed, as the time changed, now we are not seeing that kind of scenes because we people have changed a lot. How did we change? From time to time we gradually started to change. Okay, the people who are at the ancient time, what they were doing? They were hunting and gathering. Again, after a period of time, we started to live a settled life. We started to grow a crop in a land. And again, we started to do industries and we started to do business. Like this, we change from time to time. Okay, we people change from time to time. So, in this chapter, we are going to learn about these things. What is human environment, what is settlement, transport and communication. Here in the textbook, this is a very easiest lesson. You guys can simply read it and you will get it. But still I am going to explain. Okay, let me read a first paragraph of this lesson. That is, you have learned that early human beings depended entirely on the nature for the food, clothing and shelter. But with the time, they learned new skills to grow the food, build homes and develop better means of transport and communication. In this way, they modified the environment they were living. See, in the olden times, as I already said, people were dependent upon the nature for the food, for the land, for the shelter, etc. But as the time passed, they started to improve. They started to cultivate the crops in the land. Okay, then they started to make a means of transport, and like that they have changed their ways of life. Then settlement. What is mean by settlement? Settlement means, let me read out first. Settlements are the places where people build their homes. Okay, these settlements, these are the places where people build their homes. Where people build their homes. So, Settlement are the places, these are the places where people can build their homes. You may take this Davangere, this Siddhganga area. This is a kind of a settlement because here you can see so many roads in the, so many homes in this road, right? So this we call it as a settlement. Like this, a place wherever we find a homes, a place where people can build a home, that is known as settlement. Understood? Yes, settlement means a place where we can build a home. Next is, early human beings lived on trees and in caves. When they started to grow crops, it became necessary to have a permanent home. The settlements grew near the river valleys as water was available and land was fertile. See here, they are saying that early times, in the early period, people were living in the caves and on the trees. But when they started to cultivate the crop in the land, it was necessary for them to stay at one place because they were cultivating the land, they were taking the crops. If they move from one place to another place, how they will get the profit? That is why they decided to settle in a place. That's how they can get the profit from the land. Okay. Then, okay. When they started to grow the crop, it became necessary to have a permanent home. The settlements grew near the river valleys as water was available and land was fertile. First, at that time, these settlements, they started to grow. The settlements have grown at the river valleys. Why did the settlements started to grow at the river valleys? Because at the river valleys, they should get water and a fertile land for the cultivating. Fertile land. See, they started their settlements at river valleys because they can get plenty of water and fertile land at the river valleys, so that they can easily cultivate the land and they can get the crop. Then, okay, with the development of the trade, commerce and manufacturing, human settlements became larger. As there was a development in the trade, manufacturing, etc., human settlements became larger. How did they become larger? As the trade started, as the manufacturing started, see, take example this chalk piece. They have to manufacture, right? For the manufacturing of this chalk piece, it needs many workers. If workers move from one place to another place, how they can work? That is why they started to settle at one place and started to work, started to manufacture these kind of things. Okay, and they started to trade. Trade means, you know, vyapara. They started to trade and they started to manufacture. That's how they settled at one point. Okay, because of trade and manufacturing, the settlement started larger. There were a larger settlements. People started to live at one place. That's how they become a larger settlements, because of the trade and the manufacturing. Okay, then manufacturing. Settlement flourished. Settlements become larger. They become flourished and civilization developed near the river valleys. As I already said, civilization developed and settlement flourished. Flourished means, you know what it means? They become stronger and stronger. Okay, they become shiner, right? Okay. Do you know any kind of names that of civilization that grew along the banks of the river Indus, Tigris, Nile and Hangway? Okay, this is the question for you guys. You try to find out the civilization which grew near the rivers like Nile, Indus, etc. Let me give an example. Near the Indus, we have seen Mesopotamia and Harappan civilization. Like that, there are many civilization near the river because they started to settle at the river valleys itself. That is why their civilization has happened. Okay. Now we'll see. Settlements can be temporary or permanent. These settlements, it can be temporary or permanent. Okay, these settlements can be temporary or permanent. Then we'll see what are the temporary settlements and what are the permanent settlements. Okay, the settlements which are occupied for a short time are called as temporary settlements. The settlements which are occupied for a short time is called as temporary settlements. Let me give an example. In the desert places, you cannot live a longer life. You cannot live for 5 years, more than 5 years, up to 10 years, right? Only you can live for a month or like that, because in the desert areas, it will be very hot. So, because you guys cannot adjust to that climatic conditions, that is why settlements will be lesser in that area. That settlements, we call it as a temporary settlement. Settlements where we live a shorter period of time, that is known as temporary settlements. Example, the people living in the deep forest. See, in the forest, people cannot live for a longer time. And also, in the hot and the cold deserts and mountains, often dwell in a temporary settlements. In those places, we see a temporary settlements. In the mountains, in the deserts, forest, these places are not suitable for the permanent settlement because people cannot live throughout their life in the mountains or the desert or the forest. They should come out of these areas for one or the other thing, right? That is why these are called, the settlements which are happened in these areas are called as temporary settlements. Understood? So, here we can see temporary settlements. Then, permanent settlements. Let me read out the first. Okay, before that, they practice hunting, gathering, shifting cultivation and transhumance. However, here the people who are living in the temporary settlements, means people who are living in the forest, desert, mountains, they practice hunting or what kind of gathering and shifting cultivation and transhumance. What do you mean by the transhumance? Here in the next page they have given, it is a seasonal movement of a people. People who rear animal move in search of a new pasture according to a changes in the season. Transhumance means a seasonal movement of a people who rear the animal. Can you understand, guys? Yes, the people who rear the animal, they will move from one place to another place in a different season. That we call it as transhumance. Why will they move? Because in search of the pasture. They want pasture for their animals. That is why they will move from one place to another place. That is transhumance. The people who follow this temporary settlement, they used to hunt, they used to gather and they used to do the shifting cultivation, or they prefer transhumance. Okay, this is about the temporary settlement. Then next is, but many people they prefer the permanent settlement. What is the permanent settlement then? Let me tell you. In the permanent settlements, people build home to live in. Okay, In the permanent settlements, people will make a homes. They will build a home. They will build a one house and they will live in that house. That is how the permanent settlement. But in the temporary settlement, they will not build a particular homes. They will live at the caves or at the on the top of the trees, or they will make a tent like that and they will live. But in the permanent settlement, they will make a house to live. Okay. Okay, let me read a storyboard which is given in this textbook. It was Mary's birthday party. She and her friends were waiting for Gurupreet to arrive so that Mary could cut the cake. At last, Gurupreet arrived, tired and coughing and wheezing. Okay, it was Mary's birthday and they were waiting for the Gurupreet. At last, Gurupreet arrived, but he was severely coughing, sneezing. Okay. She explains that the traffic jam was terrible and that Gurupreet, she will tell that I am coughing because of the traffic jam. It was very much traffic jam, that why dust came into my nose and I am coughing because of and sneezing because of that. That's what she tells. And Mary's mother, Mrs. Thomas, patted Gurupreet's back and sighed. Okay. What she will do? She will pat the back of the Gurupreet. And the pollution in our city. She will say it's a very much pollution in our city. Prasad had recently come from his village, and one person named Prasad, he came from his village. He was recently came from his village. He asked, why do we have such traffic jams and such pollution in the cities? That Prasad asked, why do we have that such kind of traffic jam and pollution in the cities? The number of vehicles is increasing day by day due to growing population in the city. See, here also you can see many traffic jams will happen. Why does that happen? Because there are many vehicles in our country now. As the population is increasing day by day, people are buying more and more vehicles, and that's the reason we are getting traffic jam. And there is a more pollution in the city. Why does pollution happen? Because of the fumes which is released by those vehicles, pollution will happen in the atmosphere. Mary's father, Mr. Thomas, replied. Mary asked, then why are people coming to the cities? Then they will ask, why are the people coming to the cities? Even though there is so much of pollution, why does people are coming to the cities again and again? Her mother replied, they came for looking for jobs, better education and medical facilities. Mary's father inquired, if so many people keep coming to the cities, where will all the people live? See, people have come to cities for the purpose of medical, for the purpose of their jobs and for the purpose of education, because in the villages they won't get a facility of medical and they won't get good education and also they won't get many kind of jobs. But in the cities, as there are more developing industries and colleges and education, everything, the people can get more jobs here. That is why people are coming from far away places to cities. Understood? Yes. Okay. Then people are coming in a more amount to cities. Then where do they live in the city? So Mr. Thomas replies that is why you see so many slums and squatter settlements where people stay in a congested and unhygienic conditions. Okay, you see, he said that because of the so many people are coming here, that there is no place to live for them. That is why what they will do, they will create a small slums and they will live in the slums. Okay. Then shortage of power, water supply are the common problems in the cities. He is telling that because of the much population, shortage of water and power supply, everything will be a problem here. And our villager, Prasad will say now, our villagers may not have a big cinema halls, well equipped schools and good hospitals, but we have a lot of open spaces and fresh air to breathe. Okay, he will say that he is from the village, so he is telling that in our village there were no such kind of pollution because we have a fresh air there, because people are less there, and but there were no educational facilities and medical facilities in the village. See, in the village we don't get educational or a medicinal facilities, but we have fresh air. But it is exactly opposite in the cities. In the cities we have polluted air, but we do have some educational and the medical facilities and jobs for the people. Okay. So from this storyboard or the conversation, we can identify two different pictures of settlement, the rural and the urban settlements. The villages are rural settlement where people engage in activities like agriculture, fishing, forestry, craft work and trading, etc. So in the storyboard we can see two different settlements. One is rural let me write them. One is rural settlement, other one is urban settlement. It is the settlement which we can see in the villages. Here people were involved in the craft, they may be a craftsmen, they were practicing agriculture, like that. They will be involving in the different kind of activities in the rural settlements which we can see in the villages. But next we'll see in the paragraph, that is okay, a compact settlement is okay. Okay na. Then a rural settlement can be compact or a scattered. This rural settlement, excuse me, this rural settlement, it can be compact or scattered. A compact settlement is a closely built area of dwellings wherever flat land is available. Okay, it can be compact or scattered. Okay, what is meant by compact? Here in the compact settlement, there will be a closely built houses. There will be a closely built houses. Okay, and in the scattered settlements, houses will be spaced. There will be a much amount of space between the houses. In the rural settlements, these rural settlements we can see in the villages, and there people will practice agriculture. They may be a craftsmen, they may fish, they may do the fishing, and also in that rural settlement there are two types. It can be compact or it can be scattered. A compact means closely built houses and scattered means widely spaced houses. Okay, this type of settlement, okay, scattered over a extensive area. These scattered settlements, this can be seen in the hilly tracts, thick forest and regions of extreme climate. Here it can be in the hilly forest or extreme climate areas. Where we can see them? We can see in the rural settlements there are two types, compact and the scattered. Compact means closely built houses and scattered means widely spaced houses. Where we can see the scattered settlement in the hilly areas or in the extreme climatic conditions, there people will be less and homes will be less. That way we can see the scarce settlement. Okay, this is about the rural settlement. Then in the rural areas people build the houses, okay, to suit their environment. In the rural areas people build the houses to suit their environment. In such a heavy rainfall they have a slanting roof, and places where water accumulates in the rainy season, the houses are constructed on a raised platform or stilts, okay, and thick mud walls houses with a thatched roof are very common areas of hot climate. And local materials like stones and mud, clay, straw, etc. are used to construct the houses. The towns are small and the cities are larger. Urban settlements and the okay. In the urban areas, people are engaged in the manufacturing, trading, services. Okay, this is about the paragraph. Here what they are saying means, in the rural settlement, people will build the houses according to the climatic conditions. In the heavy rainfall areas, they will build a slopy roof so that water can flow over the roof. And in the area where the water accumulate, they will construct the house in a somewhat higher position so that water should not enter the house. Let me repeat it again. In the rural settlements, they will construct the houses according to the climatic conditions. In the rainy season, they will build a slopy houses through which water can easily move onto the land. And also in the areas where water will be accumulated, at that places they will construct a home which is somewhat raised. Okay, and in the summer season they will for dry areas and very hot areas they will construct a muddy house with a thatched roof so that they will get a cooling for the cooling purpose. That's how they will form a settlement. But in the urban settlements, which we can see in the cities and towns, here people, they were dependent upon the trade and they were manufacturing and also servicing sectors. Okay, in these urban settlements, these can be seen in the cities and towns, and these people depended upon services, trades and manufacturing. Okay, these urban settlement people which we can see in the cities and the towns, and these depend on the services, trades and the manufacturing. So this is about the rural and the urban settlements. So now we have seen the topic settlement. Now we will see the topic transport. Okay. Okay, you know, if you hear the word transport, what will come into your mind? Suddenly you will think of vehicles through which we can carry ourselves or some goods. Okay, right? Yes. When you hear the name transport, you will think of vehicle where you can carry yourself or some goods. Okay, let us read the first paragraph of the transport. Transport is the means by which people and the goods move. Okay, transport, it is a means by which people and goods move. Okay, transport is a means by which people and goods will move. In early days, it took a great deal of time to travel a long distances. In earlier days, there were no like these cars and bikes or buses. They have to travel by walk. They have to walk for the far off places. That is why it took a long time to travel from one place to another place in the earlier time, because they used to walk. In the earlier days, they used to walk. That is why it took a larger time for them to travel from one place to another place. But now this scenario has changed, because we can simply order a Olo or order a cab, or we can use our own vehicles, right? Now the technology has changed, many vehicles we have got. That is how we can easily move from one place to another place. But in the earlier days, those people used to travel by walk. That is why it took longer time for them to travel from one place to other place. Okay. People had to walk and use animal to carry their goods. Invention of the wheel made the transport easier. With the passage of time, different means of transport developed. But even today, people use animals for transport. See, at that time, there were no such vehicles. They used to travel by walk. That is why it took larger period for traveling purpose. And they used to carry the animals with them, and they used to put the luggage on the animal back. But as the wheel invented, technology invented the wheel, that's how vehicles came, and now we will use this kind of vehicles. Okay, but still now there are some animal goods or animal taxis, like what we call jatka bandis, like that still we are having. In our country, donkeys, mules and bullocks and camels are the common animals which we can use for the transport purpose. It may be donkeys, mules, bullocks, anything. These are the common animals which we use for the transport purpose. In the Andes mountains of South America, llamash are used as yaks in Tibet. In the Tibet, they use yak, yak. Yak is an animal which resembles like a buffalo, right? In the Tibet, they use this yak for the transportation, and in the America, they use llamas. The early traders from other countries used to take several months to reach India. Early traders from other countries, they used to take several months to travel to India. They took either sea route or the land route. They took either the sea route or the land route. Sea route means through a sea. Land route means on the land. That's it. Aeroplanes have made travel faster. At that time, there were no such kind of aeroplanes and all. They used to travel either through the sea or through land. Okay, but now aeroplanes have come and it made very easier for us to travel from one place to another place. Now it takes 6 to 8 hours to travel from India to Europe. Now because of the aeroplanes, we can travel to Europe within a 6 to 8 hours. But at that time, it was so difficult Even they used to take 6 to 8 months to travel from India to Europe. But now it's only take 6 to 8 hours because of the aeroplanes. And modern means of transport thus saves time and energy. See now, we can reach from here to Europe within 6 to 8 hours. But at that time 6 to 8 months it would have taken. That's how we can save energy and time as well. Next, there are 4 major transport means. Those are roadways, railways, waterways and airways. 4 major means of transport, that is railways, roadways, waterways and airways. So, these are the 4 major means of transport: railways, roadways, waterways and airways. So, these are the 4 main means of transport. Okay. Now, we will study in detail about each one of the transport. Okay. So, till now we have discussed how people have changed, how settlements have happened, about the permanent as well as the temporary settlement, and how does the communication we will see in the next class. That is, we have seen the permanent and the temporary settlement, urban and the rural settlements, what are the occupation they follow, and we have seen the transport, what is transport and what are the means of transport. We will see in detail about these means of transport in the next class. So, till then, take care. Thank you.